This recording, I have called it JM Karaoke, the dangerous Luo gangster. Uh, Before I continue, many of you may have noticed that in the last 2 weeks or so, I've not been recording outdoor. And if you have been noticing my face during the last 2 weeks or so, I've been sweating a lot. Uh, I have I have a medical problem. I'm sick. That is what I'm saying. I'm sick. That is why I don't record outdoors, which I prefer. And two, I sweat a lot. I don't know. Maybe the doctors will tell me, but I'm somehow bedridden. That is explains some few things. But I want to explain about why I chose the title to be JM Karaoke, the dangerous Luo gangster. The answer is very straightforward and easy to say. Something that I can explain in less than 2 minutes. But you see, going to the point, explaining this and that, you find that you miss a lot and you end up explaining in the comments section. And very few people read comments. If you want to know how many people read comments, just look at the YouTube channels that you watch. The YouTube channels you watch, and ask yourself, how many of them do you go to the comment section? Very few. So it shows that out of 100 viewers, maybe those who go to the where the comments channel are less than 5%. So it is always good to have all the information in the main story. I decided to call JM Karaoke the Luo dangerous Luo gangster because of one thing. You'll find that when JM Karaoke's family stormed the parliament, yes, somebody tell the GNC. You know GNC ukiwaambia chochote, we were the first one to do this. We were the first one to do this. JM Karaoke's family is the first family to storm into parliament. The other day when we were celebrating the 50th anniversary, the whole thing was being laid bare by the family. You know, in the newspapers they say very little. So Mrs. Terry Karaoke told those who congregated there how they left the city mortuary without disclosing that they have identified him. But as they were leaving the city mortuary, she saw a vehicle that she knew was a special branch vehicle entering. She saw a vehicle that she knew was a special branch vehicle entering. Then she went to the parliament and the parliamentarians came. We also knew 5 years ago or so, in the JM Karaoke documentary on KTN, where Martin Shikuku says, not Martin Shikuku, Mark Mwithaga says that when they went to parliament, when they went to mortuary, they found a special branch officer who was seconded to parliament, now wearing a badge written mortuary attendant. So you see that one agrees with what Terry said, because while she was leaving, special branch people are now coming. And when the family went to the parliament, you know, from city mortuary to parliament, then from parliament, the convoy now going back to city mortuary, that takes some time. Even in those days, nowadays we have something called traffic jam. So even in those days when traffic jam was less than today's, still they ended up in the mortuary, and it was surrounded by what Martin Shikuku says. It was surrounded by GSU, and the windows were opaque, so you could not see what was happening. The windows were opaque because those days, nowadays you find there is a wall around city mortuary. Those days there was no wall around city mortuary. From the Mbagathi way, you could see the mortuary, but nowadays there's a wall which surrounds it. So this opaqueness is so that whatever is happening, post-mortem is happening, that people do not see it from the road. So when they went back, they went and said, yeah, this is JM. And it was written, when Terry went there, his body was written, there was a tag on their body. Those who have seen dead bodies know that. It was written, unknown male African adult. Unknown male African adult. But when they came back, it had been written, dangerous Luo gangster. And some Luos had been hired to ferry the body away. Now, I want you to listen there, very careful. I would also want in future, those people who will be studying political assassinations, especially in Kenya, should understand this. They had hired Luo fake mourners. Why? One, Luo is coincidental. It is coincidental. Even today, you can hire Kikuyu mourners, you can hire Maasai mourners, you can hire any tribe mourners. I wanted people to understand that. But why Luo fake mourners? You see, the body of JM Kariúki, did not have teeth, front teeth. And he had been shot twice. So those days, I don't know whether still the Luo still have that tradition. But the Luo traditions those days was that they used to remove 6 teeth, 6 front teeth. If I'm not wrong, there's the lower ones, the 6 lower ones, if I'm not wrong. So when they used to remove those teeth, now JM did not have teeth. And Kikuyus, we have some very black Kikuyus, and we have very brown Kikuyus who look like Taitas. And the black ones look like Luos. JM, in my opinion, he was black. So without teeth, it was easy for somebody to conclude. Now, this is what I'm trying to say. As Terry Wanjiku was leaving the mortuary, she saw that. I learned it the other day. I never knew it for all those years. When she was leaving, she saw a vehicle that she recognized to be special branch people. So when the time she was taking from a city mortuary to Parliament and back, these people were now looking and they were saying, now, how can we profile this person? How can we profile this corpse? Then they saw he had no teeth, like a Luo. He had bullets. So that is how the narration came. Gangster who was a Luo. And in Nairobi then, and even right now, if you just take a pickup here and rush to any of the estates and you start looking for hired mourners from even Somali, you can even look for hired Somali mourners. But because from the table, from the morgue table, he looked more convincingly like a Luo. That is why he was called a Luo. And since he had gunshots, they said that this is a dangerous Luo gangsters. You see? And then how did the bullets come in? The bullets came in I remember 5 years ago, KTN featured me talking about JM being shot. The circumstances are this, if I have to repeat. One, uh, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot during the 50th anniversary. I learned a lot more than what I knew. And thank God, um, most of the things confirmed what I had been told. Most of, I didn't come across any. I don't think I ever came across any information that contradicted what I had learned. But then, if you are an NIS person and you have a report that is 100% sure, that is a cause to be worried, because in NIS we believe if something is too good to be true, then probably it is that. You see, a true story always has some unexplained loophole. But when you get a story that all loopholes have been taken care of, kindly investigate. Maybe the writer or the author of the story is a very good fiction writer. But then, so far, whatever I've presented to the public have been confirmed, some of which I learned only the other day when we were having the 50th anniversary of JM Karaoke. It was a pleasant surprise. Well, I've already met Mrs. Terry Karaoke before, and I was shocked. I was shocked that she was, because whenever we met, she could rarely talk. She was talking as maybe seeking for clarification, seeking for confirmation, and whatever. For example, when we were talking at her residence where she stays, I talked of JM being picked from Ole Odume Road. Ole Odume Road. But she told me when I was at her residence that JM Karaoke was picked from Kindaruma Road. So what I'm trying to say is that at her residence, she gave the impression of somebody who doesn't talk, somebody who's quiet. I did the over 90% talking, and but I had to look at the TV screens to see whether I've been meetings a fake person, whether I've been meeting a fake person thinking that but I saw her, even after the church service we met and we talked, she never expressed those ideas to me at all when I visited her. And then when I was listening, I was learning a lot. And thank God, thank God, whatever I said has been verified. I talked of Luorism because he was hit and the teeth came out. So the special branch looked at the body and said it looks like a Luo. So let us see. So any Luorism there, we should not judge the tribe. If in his death he looked like a Taita, they would have, because we have people who can be bought from all tribes. I wanted to clear that. And it was chosen Luo because when he was beaten, his teeth came out. He looked like what Luos used to look those days. If you are young, you can ask an elderly person. They'll tell you how Luos used to look those days without 6 lower teeth. Then two, dangerous gangster because he had 2 bullets in his body. You see, what do you call? Prima facie. Prima facie evidence, when you look at it and somebody tells you this is a dangerous Luo gangster, you'll agree. And then how was he shot? There is something I also noticed. I learned. There is something that I learned from Mama Terry at the church. I was hearing for it for the first time because from special branch they had talked of people visiting, Gezi visiting him for at least 3 times, 3 or more times, until even one time he had to go to the bedroom. Now, whatever happened on that Sunday, it's becoming more clear, and that is why it is good to have a story with 2 or more sources of information. It seems that somehow he had not recovered properly. Or if you look at my presentation in the TGRC, if you look at my presentation to the KTN, I had said that later on JM got cured. But according to Terry, Mrs. Terry Wanjiku Kariuki, is that even on the day he died, he was still sick. Even the day he died, he was still sick. She had left him at home. When she had left him at home, when she came back and found he was not there, the domestic workers told her that he had gone to Ngong. He had gone to Ngong for race course. He had gone to Ngong race course. Now, saying that he had gone to Ngong race course, it appears that Gezi did not enter the house. And those were the days of landline. Maybe they talked on landline. Most likely they talked on landline, and then agreed to meet at Hilton for the gun. Now, why did he tell his domestic employees that he was going to Ngong race course? Well, do you expect him to tell employees that he's going to Nyati House? I don't think so. So the other story remains, where he went to Hilton. He told at least 1 or 2 people, Kuaridho, if you don't see me, know whom I am with. That is at Hilton. Then from Hilton, they went to Kingsway House. When they went to Kingsway House, there was their plan. Their plan was to use stick and carrot. But then there was an argument. There was an argument between JM and Wanyeke Dhungu. You see, the two hot-tempered people on the opposite side. So that is when Wanyeke Dhungu slapped him and the teeth came out. When the teeth came out, he went for the pistol, which Gethi and I want you to understand this, please. One, JM had a sixth sense that things could not work out. And that is why he told at least one person at Hilton that should I not be seen, then no. That is why. Another thing, JM didn't like the panel, so he insisted on a gun. And Gethi, if Gethi would have known that things would get out of hand, he would not have supplied a GSU gun. That explains why or how it was not planned for him to be killed. If they had planned to kill JM on that day, and they would have told him to go to the race course. And you see, opposite Lenana School, there is a good forest there. I hope you understand me. And I'm not justifying that. I'm only just explaining that. So he looked, he gave out the gun knowing that the gun was just to make JM comfortable. But when the JM went there, in a split second, he thought that if anything happened to Wanyuke Thungu. Now, if you're asking me who is Wanyuke Thungu, I've already explained that. But today, if anything happened to Farouk Kibet, I rest my case. So, Gethi shooting the first bullet to disable JM was at the spur of the moment. And then it reached a time, here was somebody groaning in pain. This is somebody who was groaning in pain. This is somebody groaning in pain. No teeth, one arm disabled. There was a lot of discussion through landline and through There was through landline and through radio call. To date, I am not aware if Hinga, the commissioner of police, was aware. Even during that time of Hulabalu, I don't think Hinga knew anything. That is concerning him. Ignatius Nderi was the director of CID. I don't think Ignatius Nderi was in Kingsway House that day. I don't think. But he was contacted through radio call. And what he said is that this is somebody who has been injured without teeth and one arm disabled. Can you report it to Central Police Station so that an inquiry file is opened? That was what Ignatius Nderi said. But there was a lot of communication here and there, and it was decided that JM's life be terminated there. That is when it was decided that JM life be terminated there. And you can imagine those phone calls, those over and whatever, and those arguments within that time. What pain did JM face? From there, he was shot the second time. And when he was shot the second time uh, by a sharpshooter, he didn't die there. He didn't die there. He didn't die there. He was. Then they went and hijacked a a lorry ya kubeba nyama, meat, beef. Then the decision to go to Ngong, the decision to go was just out of the blue. But then some funny thing happened. Yes, people talk of hyenas not eating him, which is also funny. But then the Maasai who found him is now dead. He says that bodies used to be found there. He never reported any of the bodies. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that if he would have, that is not the first body he found, isn't it? The others which used to, but he never bothered. But then somehow, this is what we can say the mysterious power of the after death. I think JM directed him to go and report to the police. He went to the police. I've jumped something there. In the absence of any scientific or other stronger evidence, JM died at that place, and he died out of coldness and loss of blood. Uh, the Maasai says that he had some gunshots there. Uh, for me to explain that, I would just say that I can bring a body here and then shoot in the air, because JM's body had only 2 bullets and both were shot by Ben Gedhi. So that explains the mystery of JM. He ended up somewhere where other people used to be killed, and nobody has ever pursued that case. And those people who used to be killed there, they used to be eaten by hyenas. He was not eaten by hyena. The Maasais never bothered to report to the other people, but he went to the Ngong police station and found the Ngong police were not even interested in the case, and he insisted on that. So, my viewers, I didn't even want it to be that long, but AOBs usually come in. I just wanted Kenyans to know, especially Kenyans who will come to study political assassination at the university level, that he was labeled a dangerous Luo gangster and hired people because, one, he was black. Two, I've explained how the teeth came out. Three, I've explained how he was shot. So this thing, when the special branch went to city mortuary and whatever, and they looked at the scenario, it looked more convincing to be that one of a Luo gangster. With those many remarks, Thank you for supporting my channel.